So,
So
Crypto Billy, it's wonderful to have you on the channel. How are you today?
good. How are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm good, thank you. So, Crypto Billy, I know you, and many of the viewers will know you, but for any of the newcomers, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I got into crypto in 2017. My in real life career, as I'm a home builder, I build houses here in the United States. And so I got into crypto because my son just kept nagging me about it. So I decided to jump in, and I really didn't do anything with it until 2019. And when I went back to my wallet, I looked at it. I said, oh my goodness, I need to pay attention to this. So right around 2019 is when I really started researching it and jumping into uh, the entire space, and NFTs to trading to just hodling and researching the projects. And then I started getting out, put myself out there, and started modding for a lot of the YouTubers that are existing in the space. I got to know them personally through the years now. And we decided here in the last year, 2023, to open up our own channel, open up our own Twitter space, and continue on our mission, which is a giver's gain mission. So we come to crypto really from a leadership and personal development space under the auspices or under the umbrella of the cryptocurrency community. So our angle is more about ensuring that people stay safe, having the right character, doing the right thing, because in crypto, as you know, there's some bad actors, and we're trying to work hard to help keep those out.
Awesome. So, Crypto Billy, before we get started, if I was to meet you in high school, what were you like?
I was an extroverted class clown. I loved school. I did very well in school. It was pretty easy for me. So I never had to really study. And so it gave me a lot of free time. So I took the school as more of a playground to have fun. I enjoy my school years tremendously.
So, Billy, I understand you spent some time in the army. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. Yeah. I actually signed up for the Army in the end of my 11th grade year. So I had all of my senior year on the delayed entry program. A buddy and I decided to go in together at that time on what was called the buddy system, but he backed out at the last minute. So 4 days after graduating, I was shipped to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and went into boot camp. And it was really the military experience. I stayed in for 10 years. It was a great experience, and I cherish it. And it really helped me become a man and helped me become organized and just think about things in more of a methodical, dress right, dress by the numbers type of way. Loved it.
Excellent. So, I understand you got into crypto in 2017 and you did touch upon your story, but what made you get into crypto and what type of trader are you?
So once I got out of the Army, I went to college. I received my degree in finance. And so I immediately joined IDS Financial Services, had to get my licensing for uh, trading. And so I was exposed to those principles very early on. And so I've always been an investor for myself. The IDS thing didn't work out. I grew up on a dairy farm milking cows. And so I decided to go back to the co-op and work 5 years instead of pursuing the investment piece, the personal investment piece, as a certified financial planner. So I went back to the farm, went back to the co-op, worked there for 5 years. And then after that, I went into construction. In 2017, at this time, my son is a teenager. He is, let's see, he graduated 2011, so he's in college. He basically kept just beating on me to get into crypto because he knows that I was investments. I was in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, did puts, calls, options, all that kind of stuff for myself, not for other people. As he was growing up in his formidable years as a young man and growing up. So he saw that I always had this financial piece. So he just kept begging me to get in. And just really to shut him up, he's just like, I'm going to do it just so you get off my back, right? And that's how I got in. It's just happened circumstance, just fumbled into it because of my son.
And what type of trader are you?
So I'm more of a swing trader. I do some day trades every once in a while, but really what I do is I research a project, I research a protocol, and I'm so plugged into Crypto Lifer and to Tom Crown and to Alex O Crypto and to Army Piper and all these traders, right? I'm plugged into them. I'm in their streams almost every day. So I really am tied into the charts and tied into what's happening in crypto almost every minute. And so what I do is I swing trade. So what that really means is I just go in when I think the timing's right, when the confluences are there, and then I purchase. So like last night, I purchased Bitcoin because I felt that we had reached close to the bottom. Now, I'm not a trader where it makes a big difference if it's $100 off or not, or even with Bitcoin, $1,000 off or not. What I'm doing is I'm swinging that for a couple months. So I'll hold on to that for a few months before I sell it. Sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's a few days, but most of the time it's months.
Okay, awesome. So for anyone who doesn't know, 2017, we had a bull run in 2017. It was an epic bull run. We started off in January with 1,000, Bitcoin was at 1,000 US dollars. We had a mania phase towards the end of the year. So in September 2017, Bitcoin was at 5,000 US dollars, and it literally just climbed up because by December, it was close to 20,000 US dollars. So there was a massive mania phase there. This was your first bull run. How did you navigate it? What were your experiences?
I remember that very vividly because I bought my crypto in November of 2017. So almost at the top. I think it was like 15,000, 16,000 for Bitcoin when I came in, somewhere around that range. And again, I didn't really do much with it. I came back to it in 19 because I had bought Litecoin, I bought Bitcoin, I bought Ethereum, and I think I bought XRP, those four. So I didn't just buy Bitcoin. So when I came back to it, I was pretty impressed because I was like, goodness gracious, I hadn't been plugged into the market. I hadn't really listened to the news. It was just a matter of I updated my phone. I looked down. I said, what is this Coinbase app? I forgot about it. And so I clicked on it and I had to get my password and put it in there. And then I was like, oh my goodness, because back then I think Ethereum was like at $200 or something like that. So it was a big mover. And it was good for me. It gave me enough interest to say, hey, I need to pay attention to this.
So that was 2017. Now, 2018, things were different. We slid into a bear market in 2018. Did you know about the difference between a bull market and a bear market? And how did you change your strategy?
I knew about bulls and bears from the stock market side of things and from the investment in the traditional finance side. I did not understand the cycle at that time of Bitcoin. So that was part of my learning curve that I started to go through in 2019. So in 2019 is really when I started working on my education and understanding of the crypto currency space and and the ethos of Bitcoin. So I just wrote it out. I can tell you I started investing heavily in those years in 19, 20, all the way up through 21. I did very well from 20 to 21. That really cemented my belief in that, hey, this is something for me. But like so many others, I also took the round trip. I made my trades. I did very well. I had my hodl bags, and a lot of those are still being hodled today. So those hodl bags from that 2021 all the way to today, I still pretty much own all those coins. Coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Chainlink, Polygon. What's some others? XRP, of course. So yeah, those are still in my ledger today.
You were not active in 2018. You kind of skipped that year, didn't
I
you?
did, yeah. I kind of skipped that year. I bought in 17. I really didn't come back to it to 19. So I didn't really feel any of that or have to participate with any of that.
Now, in 2020, the world was in lockdown. We had COVID. We had a very sharp correction in March 2020, where we went from 9,000 US dollars down to 3,000 US dollars. So that was a massive correction. At the time, what were your thoughts and what were you doing?
My thoughts were buy. I didn't get a piece of Bitcoin down at 3,000. I was during that day. I remember coming home and watching the news on crypto news, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I missed this big move." Um, However, I did immediately start purchasing. So my purchases started happening right around the $16,000 mark. And so I've done well with it. So I'm not complaining. But yeah, I missed that $3,000 move, and it was a fast move. It was a pretty fast move down there. I remember seeing it, but I didn't get a piece of that. No.
No. Okay. So, in your early years in crypto, who helped and supported you?
Well, you build your community, right? So when you go into these chats, you go into these channels. Like one of my first channels that I joined, I think they were at 300,000 subscribers, maybe 280. Was Altcoin Daily, Aaron and Austin, and they were kind of where I went for crypto news at the time. There wasn't a lot of crypto channels out there. I mean, we all know the big one, BitBoy, Hit Network, and Altcoin Daily, and there were some other ones, Banter, and some of these other, but there wasn't like there is today. Today, there's a lot of ways for you to get your information from some good YouTube crypto channels. And of course, this was all before the ETFs and the mass adoption that we've seen this year. So it was a little harder back then, but you kind of find your community. You start to see the same people and you start developing relationships with them. You get to know who they are. And in a lot of cases, you end up meeting them in real life. I started going to the Bitcoin conferences. I think the first one was 21. And so I've been to the 21, 22, 23, and 24, along with Consensus and Rare Evo and things like that. And you start meeting these folks in real life and you get to know them. So they're no longer just a digital friend, right? You actually sit down and have lunch with them and begin discussing normal everyday life type of things.
Okay, awesome. So after the COVID low in 2020, we started to climb up. And then by April 2021, Bitcoin had topped out at the first peak at 64,000 US dollars. But we had a double top where it dipped down and then obviously we peaked again in November 2021. Were you aware that we were in a double top? Did the market outsmart you or did you outsmart the market? And it was a very emotional time. How did you manage your emotions?
Managing emotions in trading, if you're just talking about trading and not hodling, is very, very important. It's one of the things when I first jumped into crypto and started trading, I lost $10,000 on 3 trades. So I had to look at that and say, what am I doing wrong? So Frankie Candles helped me a lot. So I know Frankie personally, good friend of mine now, but he helped me a lot with that. He has a great video series on that. Also, these other guys, Crypto Lifer, they helped me a lot. How did I manage it? I knew that I was just going to continue to buy Bitcoin for my HODL bag. So separate from trading, I knew that it really didn't matter. It to this day, it still doesn't matter. I buy Bitcoin. I DCA into Bitcoin every single week. So I've been DCA in every week. So whether it's high or low, I just continue to try to own as much crypto as I can. I'm like Michael Saylor, except my bags aren't as big as Michael Saylor. I just have that much belief in Bitcoin. From a trading perspective, I round tripped it, meaning I kept buying Bitcoin and I bought it at 69 and I rode the thing all the way down, buying all the way down to the bottom at 15. And then I kept buying, right? So I've round tripped it. As far as trading, I did very well during those years. I mean, I got into Solana at $20 and sold it for like $200 in 21. It was good trading, actually, on the way down and on the way up. So from a trading perspective, it worked out pretty nicely. From a HODL perspective, it worked out great.
Awesome. So after Bitcoin peaked in November 2021 at 69,000 US dollars, we again slid down into a bear market, and we had many black swan events. We had Celsius, we had Luna, we had Voyager, 3 Hours Capital, FTX, and then obviously we bottomed out, just like you said, at 15,000 in November 2022. What was your experience of the last bear market?
I learned a lot. So I'm a big believer in things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So you have to just take those experiences and become better. I call it sharpen the saw. Just keep sharpening your saw blade. So I took all those experiences because I held out on Luna for a long, long time. A lot of my friends were in Luna. They were doing great with it. My gut told me there was something wrong there. Excuse me, one second. My gut told me there was something wrong there, but I decided to jump in at $90. So I bought Luna at $90, and I bought about I don't know, $5,000 worth or something, and I basically lost all of that. That was one of the one that I just learned on, right? I also was lucky enough. I was trading with FTX US. And when I started to hear these rumblings, I took everything out except for 14 or 15 Solana. I took everything off of FTX US. So I cleared myself of that debacle. And then when Solana went down to whatever it was, $10, $8, whatever it was, I really felt like, okay, I really didn't lose that much there. So, but of course, as Solana continues to go $200, I'm thinking, I need to get my FTX US money out of there. But so it was a great learning curve for me. I think anyone that went through that, and they survived it, I think they got better and stronger, and they're more aware now. They got to be careful.
So what motivated you to keep trading in the bear market? Because it's very, very difficult.
Well, trading wise, you can trade when it's going up or going down. It really doesn't matter. So when you see all your confluences and you see the perfect trade setup that's perfect to you, because all of these guys have different ways to trade. So my strategies might not work for somebody else, but you just know because of the confluences that this is a good trade setup, and it could be a short. So in the bear market, you're shorting a lot. In the bull market, you're longing a lot. So it really doesn't matter if it's a bear or a bull with a trader. You can make money going up and going down.
So have you ever second guessed, or do you ever second guess your trades after you've made them? And how do you deal with doubt?
Oh, all the time. I mean, the more you do it, the more relaxed you get about it. To me, it's become math. It's become logic. It's if I see X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to make that trade. If it's not there, I'm not going to make the trade. However, as you know, even though you have all your confluences, it might be a bust trade. So it's all about risk management. It's all about risk management. So what I try to do is ensure that I'm only using 1 or 2% of my portfolio, and I'm in these smaller trades, and I make sure I use tight stop losses. And if I get wicked out, I get wicked out. The key is when you do hit your trade, because of your confluences, you tend to make way more than if you get stopped out and lose a few $100. So just got to be consistent and take all the emotion out of it. If the confluences are there for you, then go ahead and make that trade. Trading is difficult, right? So you have to learn the lingo. You have to get your trading view account. I use Market Cipher pretty much exclusively. So you have to learn all the components of trading, and then so it's a learning curve. So once you do that, you get better and better at it. Just don't give up. Just keep working at it.
Okay, awesome. So we bottomed out in November 2022 at around about 15,000 US dollars. Did you catch the bottom? And when did you realize we had entered into another bull market?
I didn't catch the very bottom, but I'm a muscle car guy. I love muscle cars. I've had a big collection of muscle cars, and I sold my Hellcat in November of 20 or September of 2020. So if you go back and look at the chart, I sold my Hellcat for one reason. I sold it because I wanted to deploy more capital. I kept looking at it, sitting in my garage. It's beautiful. I bought it in 2016. And I was thinking, that's an asset sitting there. How can I take that asset and make profit off of that, turn it into something more valuable than what it was sitting there for me? And so I sold it. And of course, all my buddies know how much I love muscle cars. They're like, "You're crazy. What are you going to do, Billy? You're going to sell your Hellcat?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to sell it." And I sold it, and I bought Bitcoin for $16,500. And I posted that trade or that buy a few times on my Twitter way back. So now today at $95,000, it surpassed 100, of course, 108. But today that looks like I'm a genius, but it really isn't that. It's understanding the cycles, understanding where you are at in the cycle. And I understood that. I understood we were close to the bottom. Didn't know if we were at the bottom, but I knew we were close enough that I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I deployed another 50K to Bitcoin. I waited for the second buy. I bought it at 19.5. And so still 16.5, 19.5. It turned out to be pretty good. So yeah, that's how I navigated.
Brilliant. So what kind of coins do you like to buy? Is it just Bitcoin and high coins? Are you into memes or any degen plays?
Yeah, so I have 3 bags. I have my long-term HODL bag, which is on my ledger. Then I have my trading bag, and then I have what I call my degen bag. My degen bag is you're in all these communities, you get information. I still go do my research. And if I like it, then I will deploy capital to that project. And so actually during this bull run of 2024, the degen bag has done very, very well. So, but I would make sure caution everybody that this idea that you're going to put $100 in and make $1 million or 10,000 is very rare. Has it been done? Sure, but it's very rare. So I look at that as total disposable income. Just like I don't need this, I'm gonna bet on it like a Vegas bet. I'm going into the roulette wheel and I'm gonna put $100 on red, right? And that's the way it has to be. It has to be disposable income. You can't use your mortgage payment or your car payment or utility bill payment for that. And as long as you're looking at it that way, you're staying safe. And if you happen to hit one, great for you, right? But if you don't, you're not financially stuck and in bad shape.
Trading requires a lot of dedication, focus, time, all the rest of it. It's actually quite stressful. How do you balance your trading and your life?
Well, I call it pockets of time. We all are given pockets of time in our day. We all have 24 hours a day. We all have this pocket of time that's suddenly a appointment is canceled. You have a half an hour of time that you thought you were going to spend in this appointment. You got to do something with that pocket of time. You have to leverage it to help yourself. So I'm very efficient with that. I try to always make sure that I am using every pocket of time that I can so that I am helping myself. As far as balancing it with family, my kids are grown now. I have 7 grandchildren. Their families first. So my kids, I was the little league coach. I was a farm team coach. I was the Boy Scout leader. I was a commander of the Legion. I was city council president. I was CIC president. I was on the board of directors for the Home Builders Association for 15 years. But my family was first. So any event, parent teacher meeting, baton, cheerleading, I was there, and I took that time to be with my children. And then if that meant I had to stay up to midnight or 1 o'clock to get my work done, that's what I did. If that meant I had to go to work at 3 a.m. in the morning, that's what I did. So balancing your pockets of time and leveraging them for yourself is been very valuable for me.
And what does your wife think about your trading?
She loves it. We've been married. We've been together over 40 years, and we've been married over 38 years. She was my high school sweetheart. We dated in 11th grade. So she knows me inside out. She's my best friend. I call her my bride. She's my bride to the very day. So she gets me. She understands what it's all about. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and she understands it. So it's a great relationship.
And what about your children? Are any of them into crypto?
Well, my son's a doctor. He is in the crypto a little bit. He got me in, but he's in residency. So after med school, you graduate med school, you go to residency, and you really aren't making the wage during residency that you will once you complete residency. So his finances are still pretty strapped, and he just had twins. So he's
Congratulations.
yeah. So and then my daughter, yeah, she's into crypto, not in a huge way, but she calls me all the time. We talk crypto all the time, and she's building her portfolio.
And you said you had grandchildren. How old are they?
The oldest just turned 16. The youngest are the twins, and they're 4 months. So I have them between 4 months and 16 years old.
And do any of the grandkids watch you on YouTube?
Oh yeah, some of them help me. Yeah, so
Oh,
some of them help me. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What do they help with?
So I will record a video and I will send it to my granddaughter, and she will use CapCut and put you know the words on there. Biomex is does that too for me, but my daughter actually helped us proofread the book, because the amount of proofreading that you have to do for a book is just labor intensive. Now we did use AI for a couple for all of the chapters, but we wanted human eyes on it as well. So we had to go through this extensive proofreading, and my daughter helped us with that as well. So they're in some ways they're all involved in this. They help out. Ian, my oldest, he's 16. He's a really good digital artist. He's studied art for a long time. I have an art studio right next door here. I've been into art myself for a long time. I paint acrylic on canvas, and then I learned Procreate, which is digital art, years ago, before NFTs and all that. And so I got him in that. We have videos back when he was 8 years old, doing liquid pours and things like that. So they're all kind of involved in some ways with me in the crypto journey.
Awesome. And is there anything specific or any specific goals you're working towards with your trading?
So I always have a plan, and really the plan starts January 1st and ends December 31st. And that plan is on my bags, right? So this is what I want to hit. So I use a vision board. So I literally have a vision board where I will cut out and put exactly what I want to have happen. So I help manifest that. And I go back to that daily. I use vision boards. I put up there what I want to do, what I want to see by year end. And I got to tell you, we've hit it pretty much every single year. This year, there's one item left on my vision board. It has nothing to do with trading. It has to do with personal stuff. That I'm looking at it and I'm like, I got like a few days left. I gotta get this done. But most of the time, we hit what we put on the vision board.
Awesome. Tell me about your YouTube journey.
Been amazing. We opened up our channel just a couple of months ago, and we immediately had a couple, 100 subscribers, then a couple hundred subscribers. So it's been great. Now, part of that is because I'm out there, I'm in the communities, people know me. And I mean that humbly, meaning that everybody doesn't know me, but the communities in which I'm serving, they know me, right? So those are the people in those select communities that heard that I was starting this, and they immediately jumped in. And so it's been fun. We started on X Spaces, and that kind of helped us grow our own community on X Spaces, and then we just recently transitioned to YouTube.
Mm. You talk about your communities and your friends quite a lot. What's the most valuable lesson that you've learned from one of your fellow traders or YouTube friends or somebody in the community?
The most valuable lesson is clearly do your research. Don't trust, everyone can be wrong. I can be wrong. So if I give you a tip, if I say, hey man, I reviewed this protocol. I'm long on this. This is great. I'm just sharing it with you. You can't take that and just buy. You can't do that. You have to do your own research. And I know it's overused in the crypto space, but it's so powerful. They could have the right intentions. They could have looked at it critically with their own eye, but they could be wrong. So don't make it their fault. It's up to you to research that and decide whether it's something that you want to do. Because I've learned that it's not that they have bad intentions, especially people that are my friends or other crypto YouTubers that I personally know. It's just that everybody has a different angle and understanding and different way to research it. And so that's a big takeaway for me. It's like it doesn't come necessarily from a bad place when they make a recommendation, and you got to be careful because there are YouTubers out there that get paid to shill a coin or don't disclose that they own that project early on, and so you got to be careful.
So, how do you decide to cut your losses or to take profit? Do you have a single rule or do you just swing it every time you make a trade?
So it depends on what kind of trade I'm in. If I'm in a swing trade, um, during a bull run, so knowing where you are in the market, and the research has been done on the protocol, say like Ethereum, if I'm in a swing trade, then I hold until what I feel is going to be the top, or I see something on the charts that tells me this is a problem. If it's a day trade, then I will just keep my eyeball on the charts. So like when I've day traded before, I've been out within minutes, I've been out within hours. And so the key there is not to lose. The key there is to win. So, but I've had to cut losses before. Everybody has. If they tell you anything else, they're not being straight up with you. You got to cut your losses. And I do that by using a stop loss. So it's automatic. It cuts it off for me.
Tell me about your NFT collection. So, not only do you trade and you're very active in your communities, you've also collaborated on an NFT collection. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. So we said from the beginning that we on our X spaces that we're going to record those X spaces, and they're all about personal development. So our X space topics were things like honor, character, community, persistence, taking action, building good habits, rarity, emotional intelligence, think topics like that. And we started our spaces with the understanding that we were going to record those spaces. And then once we're done with 30 of those spaces, we are going to convert that into, even though they were audio, into an NFT book. So we're going to convert it into words, into a book, and then that book would be turned into an NFT book. So it was a pretty large undertaking. By the way, I do believe we are the first ever to record 30X spaces, turn it into a book, and that into an NFT on the Cardano blockchain or on any chain. So I don't think anyone else has done that. I've challenged people. I will pay you $100 in Bitcoin if you prove me wrong on that, because the folks that I've talked to on these different chains, they've said no. Now you have Book.io, which is on Cardano, but they didn't record 30x spaces of the community, by the community, for the community. So in other words, on our X space, if you're a listener, we encouraged you to come up, speak, ask a question, and then you would be in the book. You yourself would be in the book. And so we've done that. We had Charles Hoskinson on. He came in under emotional intelligence. He spoke for us. We had a lot of great speakers, Mind Your Biz, Chris Rice, Crypto Lifer, Miss Teen Crypto, a lot of influencers, but also project founders or protocol founders. Caspa came on, the owner of Trump Coin. He came on and spoke because it was hot during that time. So it was learning all of that and learning how to actually create an NFT and learning, talking with the devs and understanding the devs and ensuring that they can execute your vision and going back and forth and testing it and testing it and testing it. Because we had to build our own proprietary book reader for that. So like if you buy the NFT, which if it's on billygoatales.io, you go there, you click mint the NFT, you connect your Cardano wallet. Once you have the NFT, then you come back to our website and we have a button right there that says book reader. You click that, it opens up like a book and you turn the pages just like you're reading a Kindle or something. So we had to build all that and just going through that process and learning all that information on how you get that actually done and executed. It was very rewarding for us.
It sounds really exciting. I'll leave all the links below, so if anybody wants to check it out, they can. But I also wanted to ask you about your book, because I know you've written a book as well. That's so exciting.
Yeah, we wrote a children's book. It's called Bridge to Bitcoin, and it's a children's book. And this book is the first in a 5-series set that we're writing. We have the second one written. There's 5 people on our team. Jimmy Jim, the Biomex, Redman, Crypto Pollo, and Dave Digital helps us as well. And so each one is going to write their own children's book. And what we do is we basically take a fairy tale or folk tale and we align it with a cryptocurrency spin. So in this particular book, it's all about keeping the kids safe. If you're coming into Bitcoin, and it's why it's called The Bridge to Bitcoin. We themed this one after the folk tale, The Three Billy Goat Gruff, which, if you recall, is about 3 goats that need to cross a bridge, but underneath the bridge is a troll, and he's trying to eat the goats, and all they're trying to do is get to the glory land. They're trying to get over to the grassy knoll to eat. Well, we've taken that and we basically said, you guys are the 3 goats, the community. You're trying to get over to Bitcoin and learn about it and purchase it, but you have these scammers and shillers that are always trying to take your money. That's the troll underneath the bridge. And we, through that storybook, we try to keep them safe and keep them aware of how to be safe navigating crypto and a wallet and Bitcoin so you can get to the glory land, which is Bitcoin.
I think that's absolutely amazing. And for what age is this book as well?
It's about 8 to 14. However, I've had people DM me straight up and, they have their 5-year-old reading it and they have their 18-year-old reading it and adults reading it. So the adults find it pretty cute. If they remember that folktale from when they were a child, they can relate to it. And so we love to see posts with the little kids' hands holding it open and reading it. And by the way, I'm not sure when this is going to drop, but this next Tuesday, Miss Teen Crypto for Christmas Eve is going to be reading this children's book live on our X and YouTube. We're going to dual stream it. And so she's going to read it for Christmas Eve, which we think is wonderful because she's just a great person.
That sounds so exciting. But CryptoBee, how are you going to top this? So not only have you learnt to trade, you've written a book, you've done an NFT collection. What's next?
Well, we're still working on our 4 other books that we're going to be doing, and we're building out our YouTube. So even though I'm around the YouTube space and have been around for years and years, learning all the buttons to push and learning the transitions and all the editing that takes place. There's a lot to learn there, right? So it's really a separate business. And so we don't feel that we've maximized that or have become the most efficient at that. So there's a lot of that going on. We also have every day we're dropping a mindset video, motivational mindset video, where it's just us. It's 5 to 8 minutes long, and it's really trying to get your mind right for the day. And it's not based on crypto; it's based on life, like just principles in life that would be good for you to know. So we drop those every day. We're starting to get that figured out, how to do that efficiently, and that's where we are right now, is trying to maximize the efficiencies that go into running a YouTube channel. But we have a 5-year business plan. We have a lot of things on there that I don't want to discuss right now, but we have some things on there, and we're just going to keep driving forward. Just going to keep meeting people like you to help us with our messaging, and hopefully we can help you with your messaging. So yeah, that's what's up next.
Gosh, that sounds so exciting. So, Crypto Billy, what do you think is the most exciting development that's coming up in 2025 for crypto?
These AI agents are something that we all are going to experience. It's really just getting started. I know you hear in crypto, AI is a great sector, and DePIN and DeSci and all these different sectors. But these AI agents that actually become another you. For instance, there's a project. I don't want to say what it is, but there's a project out there that's going to help YouTube creators. So it's an AI agent. So imagine you having your own digital self man your Twitter account, man your YouTube channel, do the post, do the things that take time up. That's where it's going, right? You're going to have a digital version of yourself that actually can execute work and get it done while you're doing something else. So it's amazing. This age that we're moving into is truly amazing. And I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Awesome. Crypto Billy, when you look back at your career as a trader, what moment makes you most proud?
Well, first of all, I would say going way back to the 80s when I received my securities license and started being exposed to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, puts, calls, options, things like that. It was a blessing to understand finance, and it was a blessing to be able to, in my personal life, use those principles that helped me succeed. So just getting the knowledge early on, even though crypto wasn't even a thing back then, of course, and those principles still remain today in crypto. And so to learn those things early on and be able to leverage those things through my life and all my businesses that I've had has been just a rewarding candle on top of the cake, right? It's just been awesome. And I want to teach and coach as many people as I can in the right way so that they can experience the same type of wonderful life that I've had.
Okay, awesome. Let's look into 2025. So are you a firm believer in the 4-year cycle?
Yes, I am a big believer in the 4-year cycle.
So you think the top's probably Q4 2025 for Bitcoin?
I'm thinking October. However, there's something to be said about a shortened cycle. It's still a 4-year cycle, right? So 2025 is going to be the top, but it could be a shortened cycle. And I'm looking at that. Of course, I plan on being out before that myself personally. I won't sell my Bitcoin. It doesn't matter to me on the Bitcoin side. Like we know this. Bitcoin has never retraced back down to its election day low. So this past election day was 67,000. If you go back 4 years back when Biden was president and you look at the election day, it never retraced down to that. If you go back to the second 4 years when Trump was elected, it never retraced down to its election day low. So if you're looking at confluence and you're using something more than your gut, you have to look at the charts, and you have to start looking at it from a very mathematical, logical standpoint. And you find these nuggets that you start to build your own case on. And so I personally do not think that we will ever see Bitcoin in the 50s, probably not even the 60s ever again. And the reason I say that isn't just my opinion. It's based on looking at the charts and determining whether or not it's ever done that before. And so when you look at that, it makes a pretty good case for you to know that, hey, if you bought Bitcoin at $16,000 and it does get down to 67, has it really hurt that much? Because you know the next 4 years in the bull, you're probably going to do very well. So I hodl my Bitcoin. I do trade it in my trading bag. So I'll buy Bitcoin in the trading bag to trade it. But pretty much I'm trying to take all of my altcoin profits and just continue to buy Bitcoin and store Bitcoin.
So we've already hit the 1,000 US dollar mark for Bitcoin. Do you have any idea or any predictions on how high we can go?
The 100,000 mark. Yeah.
100,000 mark.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. What do I think? Here's my opinion that means nothing. It's absolutely worthless, right? My opinion is somewhere between 140 and 160. But I'm more going to go on the time frame. So what I mean by that is when we get into March, April-ish, I'm going to be very, very hawkish. I'm going to be looking at the charts very, very carefully, almost daily, probably multiple times a day, because I don't want to round trip again, right? I've already done that. I have that experience. I don't need to do it anymore. So yeah, I'm thinking 140 to 160, but again, it's just my opinion and it means absolutely nothing.
And what do you think about the alt season and altcoins?
I think it's real. I think we're due for it. I think it's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big believer in the fundamentals, which is the 4-year cycle and what has happened every single time we're in a bull run. And until it breaks, and we'll all know when it breaks, until it breaks, that's my thesis, right? That is the fundamentals that I'm banking it on. So I believe we're going to have a good altcoin season. I do believe there's going to be surprises in there. Like this retracement right now pretty much was expected. A 20 to 30% drawdown is pretty much expected with every bull run. If you go back to the charts, it's happened. So it didn't scare me out. Matter of fact, I've been shopping today, looking and on Spaces today, gathering information on looking at what to purchase. And I did short that Bitcoin dump just in my trading bag. I did short that. And so, yeah, I think it's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it.
And what about Trump? So what impact do you think he's going to have next year?
I'm very excited about that. And the reason is it's the first time in American history that we will have a pro-crypto administration. So whether you're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. What matters is we are going to have the first pro-crypto administration. And that is huge. So that what I really like about all of it is we were in here before the institutions, before all the regulation, before all the big money comes in. And the big money is buying Bitcoin at 4x above where a lot of us bought. And in some cases, like Crypto Lifer, he's 100x his Bitcoin. He's been in here a longer time. That to me is just beautiful. It's just wonderful that you are part of the first movers in the space before all of the mass adoption. And so the guys that have been in here the longest, it's hard to get hurt with Bitcoin. I mean, anything could happen. I keep an open mind, but I'm just going to keep hodling my Bitcoin, and it's played out.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Crypto Billy, for coming on and sharing your wonderful story with us. I really enjoyed learning about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.